How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another After Action Report with RONIN 47R. We are today taking a look at the World of Tanks Community Tournament between Clan TLP versus our Clan 47R. You can see here is the team roster scrolling up there. And we're going to go ahead and jump into Mad Hatter's stream. Now, you may or may not be able to hear some of the commentating that's going on there between Nazar and Mad Hatter as they are spectating this game. Also, too, just giving you a quick overview, I was watching this from the computer there in Twitch and having conversations there on the side. And later on, it dawned on me that for the game aspect, I should probably make it a larger screen. So, sorry, better than nothing. But it was my first time doing it, just like it was our first time with our team competing in a very, a live game with actual competition. It wasn't just practice, so pretty cool. And hats go off to Mad Hatter for doing an excellent job of having that overlay. I don't really know, the graphic, I guess is what you would call it. And down below it looks very professional, very cool. And you can see examples here of how he is spectating our very first game. You can see they're in spectator mode. So if you are not familiar with it, that's what it means. It literally means you can float around and spectate.
No, not quite.
All right, so Destructicon-san and myself were watching this when it was happening live, although it was absolutely delayed by 10 minutes. So when I say watching it live, it was live minus 10 minutes. Do you want to say hi real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Hi.
there you go. Proof of life. He does exist. Not making him up. So, all right, what you have here is the green team versus the red team, and the red team is 47R. The green team is TLP. All right, folks, so go ahead and bear with us. What I'm doing here is trying to make the most of looking at the screen, which should be a lot bigger for me. Hopefully it's visible to you enough. Like I said, some of the games were blown up. Meanwhile, if you take a look at this, you can see that our team, the 47R, are making a run up the 9 line, and the majority of them are going in that direction. We have a couple of other tanks that are doing some scouting, going up the 1-2 area, with one of the tanks being back in the 4 row, so he's not quite up there yet. You can see that the TLP team has split up their groups, and it's fairly even, if not numerically, if not even by class of tank. So there you go. You see the TLP has just taken a hit. Great work there. Now remember, in this particular battle, I have no control over what we're looking at, so I'm doing the best I can to try to keep up with watching this. And what you'll notice on this map here, Steps, is that there is a lot of elevation changes, and so there are some pockets that you can hide in, and they're peeking up and over and that sort of thing. And you can see the TLP team is very bunched up there. And it looks like, the one on the right there, I want to say is a T-34. Can't see from my vantage point on the computer. But basically you have all these heavy tanks. And they're doing a very good job of starting to move around them up the north. Now the green tanks there, the TLP, looks like they have a pretty good hit on our IS-3. And they're just doing some back and forths. We have already lost one of our tanks. TLP just lost another one. And then they just lost another one again. Now you can see we are sweeping through here, moving up and around, and now it's just going to be a matter of time unless something really crazy happens. Notice our light tank did take a moment to pause there, and they're doing a great job of dancing back and forth, being cognizant of which direction the turret is facing, and of course the terrain itself, making themselves available and not available to being shot. So there you go. They are getting whittled down there on the northwest corner. Meanwhile, the green team, the TLP, has swung around and is now coming up from the south, which you would think would be a problem for the red team, the 47R. But in this case, they have the number advantage as well as the class type, the weight. So they're doing very well. All right, so now you can see here we just have that tank destroyer there that just got taken out.
Here we go.
Leaving just 2 tanks left on TLP's team. Now again, with practice and, and whatnot, it'd be a lot better and a lot nicer if I can call out individual names and tank types and whatnot, but I kind of have this very far away vantage point, and in the editor, it even looks smaller. So the finish process would look a lot clearer and a little easier to read when it's small, but I don't have that advantage during the editing process, but TMI on the technicalities. All right, so I want to say that was a Borsig, but I'm not sure if that's a Borsig that's left. And that was too quick for me to even see. TLP's light tank is on the run. And we have our light tank in pursuit. Their TD just went down. And we are looking at, we have 5. Wait, 2, 4, 5. Yep, 5 to 1 left. Now, as a conversation, when the game started, you may have been aware that there was 6 versus 7, and 47R had one more player to his advantage. And from my understanding, don't quote me on it, but from my understanding, based on the rules, is basically it's supposed to be 7 versus 7. You commit to it, you bring in your folks. There's rules on class weights and that sort of thing. And as you can see there, the 2 lights ganged up on the TLP, and we clinched the win there. Excellent work. And, again, not bad. This was their very first time. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into battle number 2. In this battle, we currently are going into this with 1 win and TLP with 0 wins. And we've switched sides. So it's the same map. Switch sides. What I've cut out was the part where you would see the team picking tanks one at a time. And like I was saying about the amount of players, they're supposed to have 7, and 1 did not show up. So that's, the rules are, from my understanding, is it's fair that, if one team showed up, they showed up. The other team didn't show up, they didn't show up. So you're not going to take away players from the team that did show up, because then that's just not how the rules are. All right, so in yellow is the spectator there, and Mad Hatter now is floating about. And and another thing that was of interest is, according to the rules, you're supposed to wait once you spawn in, and once the tank battle begins, and he says roll out, and it's at 0, and starts the countdown goes to 0, and they start the game. The rules state that each team is supposed to stand still for 30 seconds. And the reason being behind that is to ensure that everybody completely loaded in. There was no problems. Also, too, to make sure if there's any, you're given a 30-second grace period for making sure you loaded in, as well as any last-minute instructions and that sort of thing. So technically, the game is supposed to start 30 seconds after the actual game says, roll out, or let's begin, or something. So that was a rule that wasn't being followed by TLP. I'm not trying to hate. I'm just, just discussing the analysis of the game. It was double checked with the moderators. They confirmed that, oh yes, that's supposed to be happening. We'll let them know. So whether that's going to go ahead and continue to be enforced or not, or even after this tournament is over, altogether, not just this battle, but the whole tournament, whether that rule's going to be changed or not, who knows. But that is what is supposed to be happening, and that's why 47R, typically you will see them sitting there for a long time while the other team continues to move. So, but regardless, even though they're getting into position faster, and then we did have the one additional player, things, strategies, whatever, gameplay, not going to, go there, and it is what it is, and it worked out. So we got a good hit there. One light tank just popped the light tank there to the left. He did take a hit, and I can't tell from my vantage point if that is Folk or not in his AMX, not sure. So one of the red team's light tanks just went down. And you know what? I'm actually having it flipped. It's actually the flip side. I was actually calling out the greens as being 47R, when in actuality, 47R is the red team. So there are 2 light tanks, and they're kind of playing peekaboo, very stationary there in that region. You've got a line of a heavy and 2 TDs lined up on the hill, kind of a defensive form there. I don't know if that's going to work out for them well or not. You can see that the 47R is coming down south via the 9-0 line. And looks like 47R's team was able to put away TLP's player there at the very southern tip. And now they're pincering around with one heavy tank there in the lower portion of the map, with two still kind of in the mid area. Now that's going to cause the TLP team there in the defensive position to have to try to decide whether they're going to aim, southeast or northeast. Meanwhile, you have some light tanks that have been split up, which taking on one heavy tank and the other one taking on a light tank. Now it's turned against 47R here, where there are two tanks against one light tank. So let's see how this turns out. All right, 47R was almost able to get away, but was put down. However, they are heavily damaged. Meanwhile, we are resulting with some 3 heavy tanks on 47R's team, and there are, 5 tanks left for TLP. So it would appear that TLP is going to be able to clinch this win. Let's go ahead and see how this is going to play out. Now, meanwhile, you have 2 tanks over on the 4 line. The light tank's going very fast northward. Then you have the heavy tank that's kind of taking up the center. And then you have TLP's team in the center, eastern area, and one in the southeast area. All right, so now there's 3 47R teammates left. And you can see there that there is a light tank that is taking the position over at the flag. And any moment, you're going to see, I'm sorry, right now my wife is kissing me gently and it's making me laugh because it tickles. Anyway, so the light tank is taking position over the flag and then sweeps around. Now, meanwhile, the tank destroyer here, the Borsig, is sticking his nose out a little bit. You can see a great picture of our emblem there on the IS-3. It is now 3-4. I was distracted with being attacked by that woman who claims to be my wife. And she, and the light tank now, as you can see, is capping there. Now, this causes a little bit of stress. It puts some pressure on the red team, the 47R, because now what's going to happen is Posey's going to come up in his T-32, and he's going to be forced to come back and reset the cap. You can push it. I mean, they could have gone south, maybe, but I think this is the correct thing to do. Dangerous to split up your forces, but by doing this, you're going to at least ensure the opportunity to reset the cap. Hopefully, the 247R units down in the south are going to be able to hold their own against that. Now, meanwhile, there is a heavy tank that is going to attempt to intercept Posey in his T-32 and try to stop him, stop his advance on the flag. Now, it's very interesting because, I don't like to make judgments and stuff, but there's a thin line between being a judgment, making judgments that are not cool, and, just analyzing. I would go ahead and go as far as to say I feel like the heavy tank on TLP's side should have pushed harder to prevent Posey. But I'm glad he didn't. And Posey was able to lock in and take care of the light tank, not only resetting the flag, but absolutely taking him out of the game. Now it's 2-on-2. Their tank destroyer has already been put down. Now this is almost a one-on-one. I mean, it really is a one-on-one battle for both groups. And we just happen to have only a view of this particular battle because of the spectator mode and what Mad's looking at. And nicely done. Posey was able to put down the TLP's heavy tank. And almost simultaneously, the same thing happened in the southeast. That would conclude the second game. And that was a great turnaround, allowing our team to come out with a 2-0 win. So good stuff, guys. All right, so now we're continuing on, and it is going to blend in. It's going to transition into the third game. Now, remember, the way this tournament is set up, it is supposed to be, 4 out of 7. So the best 4 out of 7, and that's, so obviously there's not going to be a tie at the end if you go all the way to the 7th game. Now, at this point in time, we're walking into this with a 2 wins 0 losses. If you can go ahead and quickly close that door because I'm recording, it's driving me crazy. There you go. Thank you. I'm not even going to edit that out. That's my life. And then the neighbor's dog, I love it. I just want to hug that dog so much. All right, so now we're rolling into a new map. And what they continue to do is take turns back in the area of the, of the room where they take turns picking the tanks. That is part of the rules. And they go ahead and launch, and here they are. There are 2 spectators, as I've mentioned before. Got Mad, and you have Nazar, and they will go ahead and abracadabra themselves into spectator mode. And away they go. So now we can see on this particular map, I really like this map, good times. And you can see in our team, 47R, good job following the rules, guys. So proud of you. I really am. Look, they haven't even moved yet. And now they're going to move. Now it's been 30 seconds. Now they're moving. So good job for you guys. Meanwhile, you can see that the green team, TLP, they're almost halfway down the map already. And at this point, I realized, hey, I can actually watch the game in full screen, you dummy. So I went ahead and did that. So that is that. I may even attempt to get the raw footage and just put the whole bloody thing up. But anyways, so continuing on with our after action here, you can see this Brazil is cruising along here, doing its job as scouting. Again, TLP has 3 heavies, 2 lights, and 2 tank destroyers, whereas 47R is rolling in with the 4 heavies and the 3 lights. All right, looks like the tank destroyer for TLP, the Borsig there, did bounced, I want to say. Went down for some cover. And you have here I want to say an IS-3 that is kind of pulling back into a canyon area or the dip there. Now we have the T-54 light tank, great tank. I can't wait to get that myself. He came in there. I was very concerned about him because light tanks should not be brawling. And he's kind of in a position where he's like, well, I'm here. Luckily, he I believe, or someone else on our team, ammo racked TLP's heavy tank. Then he gets killed there. Meanwhile, we're still keeping the numbers. We've only lost 1 tank, whereas 3 tanks have gone, or excuse me, 2 tanks have been taken away from TLP. Now there's okay, so here's the IS-3. IS-3 has gone way too deep by himself there. Now notice this here on our team, the 47R. At first I was thinking that it wasn't on purpose, but it really was. The light tank there was using our own heavy tank as defense against the IS-3, which was incredibly intelligent. Well done. It's just a matter of time here. As I believe Nazar said, it was this mathematics come to play where, I mean, it's all 47R versus that one guy. So he is done. There is 1 light tank on TLP's side who is trying to cruise around and maybe get a little bit more damage in there, but it's just a matter of time. And there it goes. I would have suggested to that teammate there to have rotated his hull more while he's turning his turret to more quickly bring it to bear. But, good game. So there it is. That would be the end of the 3rd game. And now we're going to start up on, Muravanka again. Same map, and they switch sides. And again, the same rules apply where they, they take turns picking teams in the very beginning. And for whatever reason, I don't know what the technical reason was, but the TLP's player, their 7th player, never showed up. So, so now we're playing a 4th game with 6 versus 7 as per the rules. Hopefully I'll be smart enough to remember to make it a large picture. There you go. The other thing I wanted to point out is that if 47R wins this 4th game, then that will be the last game for this particular match, because at that point they will have won. However, if TLP is able to win this game, then they're going to have to continue to progress further to decide who's going to win the overall match. All right, so now we can see here the green team, which I believe, if memory serves, is TLP. Notice the red team, which is 47R, is still waiting until 30 seconds has gone by. And of course, they're starting to move out. Now, again, the challenge, notice this. Already there are 2 tanks to the F and G line.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
because they weren't adhering to that that delay. I'm curious to see if in the future those rules are going to be taken out or if it's going to be enforced, one or the other, because you can't have one team following one set of rules and another team following another set of rules. That's pretty crazy. All right, so what do we have going on here? We have the IS-3 for TLP moving forward. You got some lights doing some spotting. And he is spotted, and some shots were exchanged. The IS-3 is pretty far out there by himself. I'm not going to condemn him for that. That might be a good strategy depending on how the rest of his team supports him. Not sure. And then you have these, some will call them brave, I'll call them crazy, light tank drivers who are just flying around there, doing a great job of giving us intel as to the locations of their 4 heavy tanks and the tank destroyer. Now, what the TLP team is not aware of, which we are aware of, is the location of 47R. They're heading north. Some are kind of going to the west. They're not sure where the team is. They only know where those light tanks ran off to. They have seen some red tanks, but some of the 47R, but they're not sure where all of them are. That would be my guess based on how they are responding. Now I have 2 heavies and a TD. At least the 2 heavies are heading north towards the flag. The TD, I'm not sure what his plan is. He's kind of stationary, kind of heading west. Then you have 2 heavies on the TLP that are on the east coast. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. They seem to be kind of stationary and posting up. Now, meanwhile, you have 2 light tanks over there in the G3-ish area. And then you have, I want to say it was Folk and his Amex at that point, over there in the K6 area. And he is coming over to take a quick peek and harass and to, let him know that he's there. And he's going to do a great job of drawing those guys south and towards him. Meanwhile, the bulk of the 47R team, the heavy hitters, everybody that's not a light tank really, as you can see, has really steamed north very quickly towards the flag. That one guy does not stand a chance. He's out in the open. It's a flag, easy to see, and there's a lot of guns pointing at him. It's just a matter of time. However, to TLP's credit, he is attempting to use that one building at the Circle's 2 o'clock location there as some cover. However, there's just too many guns put on him, so he is now out of the picture. Now, the time that occurs, TLP's heavy tank is over there in the C6 area. He's done. He's by himself. There's just, it's zombie horde time. He is going to be toast. Light tank comes in here, tickles him from the rear. He's done. Now you have 3 TLP members, 2 heavies and a tank destroyer moving in on the 1 light tank, which is folks Amex. I want to say it's the Amex Chaffee, if memory serves. And he is hiding behind this building smartly. And he has to make a decision. Eventually he needs to move. And there he goes. He scoots away. Luckily, he did not get hit by the tank destroyer. He evades the heavy tank. And I want to say he even bounces. He may have taken a critical. But he is cruising along. And luckily, he is doing very well of not dying. Now, he's at this point in time, I believe he is reloading. Okay, now I believe he's reloading. Unless someone else got the TD from behind. But he's kind of wasting some time there, trying to stall while he's reloading. And now it's time to go in after the 1 heavy tank that's by himself. There you go. So here he comes in, and he may even give this guy a light. Let's see. There he goes. He lights him up. He is going to outpace the turret traverse as well as the hull traverse. I mean, it's just a done deal. The other heavy tank has been previously destroyed. And, of course, the 2 light tanks make quick work of the last heavy tank. And that concludes the 4th game. So I'm really proud of you guys. You guys did a great job. Very, very awesome. And we all wish you a lot of luck and have a good game and have fun in your next match. Now, where did my crew go off to? Oh, I see. There they are. Okay, girls, tell them who they are if they're receiving this transmission.
You are one of the 47 Ronin. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.